Hello, welcome back. Tonight I would love to talk a little bit more about my books, my grimoires. I have written many different genres and different styles, but I am most concerned or most inspired by my dark Gothic grimoires, and they have been a mirror to understand a little bit more about life, and the interesting aspect of the grimoire is that they come from a source that is far away, that is almost unknown. It has been a new territory for me, like the idea behind and the work that I have done, it is new. The inspiration comes from King Solomon book, Ars Goetia, or the Lesser Key of Solomon, where he presents the 72 spirits with a certain description of their powers and a sigil of their own power as well. So it's a representation of them in his book. And my grimoires come many years after. King Solomon book is quite old, and I have taken some of those spirits from King Solomon book and I have written my own grimoires on them. And today I would love to talk a little bit more why this work feels so important to me, why this work opens like new gateways, opens new understanding for us humans, or for us readers, to understand something that hasn't been understood until now. Of course, once I open the door, there's a lot of different subjects, different criteria, or different analyze that one can do, but I will try to simplify it. So the grimoire genre, it does work with supernatural powers, and it does give a new insight or a new perspective on how humans have experienced or seen life until a certain point. It's almost like there's a new wave or a new genre that enters once we open that door, and that's a lot that comes with it as well. It's a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of different perspective as well. So it's almost like the old has been renewed with new information, new ideas. And as a writer, I think that's an interesting aspect, because we say, well, every book brings something new into the world, brings a new understanding, brings a new type of knowledge that hasn't been reached until that point. We writers, we reach, there's always some type of plane of inspiration, but finally we reach for new understanding, something that unites the past with the future, and us being in the present, we connect those 3 points. So the grimoires do offer a new insight, a new perspective. It is a little more dark Gothic because it deals with supernatural beings, and these spirits of Ars Goetia, it's like beings that have lived for thousands and thousands of years and have accumulated a lot of knowledge, and they have their own power and their own supernatural powers as well, and their wisdom is vast. It's very vast. So my intention with the grimoires was to honor them, to give them their own voice, where they express that wisdom, express their feelings, or their aura, their authentic self, who they are, what they represent, what they stand for, and through that brings new understanding to me as well as a writer, who they are. So I wanted them to speak in their own voice and reveal the things they want to reveal, and that wisdom that they have accumulated over a span of many years. So I want to say, well, my work was to open the door to this new knowledge and offer them that voice, offer them that understanding, through my belief that they do have something essential that they carry, that we should know, or we should be part of, or that we should understand, that it is helpful for us as well. And it is always very meditative when one works with them, because the way they see things and the way they speak about things, it's very truth revealing, and at the same time it shatters one's belief. The belief that one had before are shattered, because the false beliefs, so they have that power to bring new ideas and bring a truth that somehow we have forgotten, or has been silenced, or has been rewritten in different direction that was wrong. So they carry a lot of, like a sword of truth. They carry that power with them. They are spirits that never are defeated, because they stand for great powers. They stand for great meaning, great truth. So they have great morals as well. The first grimoire I have written was written about King Paimon, who is an important spirit in the book of Ars Goetia, and the representation that it was given to him. But my book, my grimoire on King Paimon, goes beyond that. It reflects much more closer, much more vast on who King Paimon is and what he represents. And then followed others, grimoire, the grimoire of Buer, the grimoire of Lerage, the grimoire of Barbatos, the grimoire of Osmodeus, the grimoire of Gusion, the grimoire of Citri, and so on and so forth. And I'm still working on other grimoires. So it has been quite, in a way, challenging, because I had to create some type of trust, some type of guidance, that I'm able to give truth to those books, that they do carry truth, they do carry something revealing, something powerful, something beautiful, and they all carry their own essence. They are very different in their words, in their expression, in their meaning, in the story they carry, in the wisdom they carry. So they are all quite very unique individuals, very almost independent from one another, very different from one another. And they stand for truth, they stand for wisdom, they stand for power, they stand for authority, for sovereignty, for kingship, for many very beautiful and strong values. That's why I like that aspect of them, that they are not willing to sell themselves for. They carry their own truth. They have reached a certain element of understanding, and they're their own masters in their dominion, what they carry. And when one reads from the grimoires, one understands even more what I'm talking about, because it is very revealing. It's almost to say, when you read them, you're going to be able to understand and be aware of their truth, and you can recognize it as truth, and you can understand very easily what they are about, and what truth they share, what wisdom they carry, because it is almost like the keys that you were looking for until that moment, the knowledge that you have been searching maybe in other parts that you were not able to find, and they're able to give you that, they're able to give you what you were searching. At the same time, not only that, they create new potential in you, they create new ideas in you, they create new levels. There's more potential that comes from that. They, they enlarge. There's like they conquer those limits, and they enlarge that space. That it's almost, it becomes limitless. It becomes something little becomes big, or something not understood becomes clear. So they are able to clarify many things that somehow have been maybe set aside or maybe discussed for many years and not haven't been reached an understanding or some type of meaning that can be agreed on. So they're able to tell you what you want or what you need to hear, and it is the truth, no? So it is not a lie that it's just something you want to hear or understand. It is the truth. So they do offer that because that's for what they stand for. And the playlist I have created here is to speak more about them. So it creates a new understanding of who they are and what they represent and what qualities they carry. And my grimoires are able to elevate somebody, to give that through that new understanding, through that new wisdom or new perspective. They do create this like a wave that it comes through that. It is a simple elevation, that it's almost you receive the help that you have been maybe not receiving from other places. They're able to give you that help for elevation, for a higher purpose, for a higher meaning, for a higher understanding, and so on and so forth. And it's quite miraculous the way they work, the way I have created a book. It did feel supernatural to me because I had visions, I had dreams, and in general the amount of time that I was spending creating a large book or a large grimoire has been very short. Almost like, well, I did receive help from them, I did receive this inspiration. The work went so fast. I was so I felt very supported, very almost like I was helped in writing these grimoires by these spirits, by their power, because almost like I gave that voice to them, so they express through me, through my words, but and say, well, it was their words, they were not mine. I just gave the space of the book or the idea, the will and the power to create it, but the knowledge comes from them. That's the way I wanted to do it. It was not something that I have put together, but it's something that I worked with them, with their help, with them to create it, because I wanted their voice to be heard, not mine. And they are very beautiful books, very beautiful grimoires. As I've said, it's a little like dark Gothic because they're very powerful and they express feelings, or everything that is expressed in that book. It's very poetic, it's very beautiful written. It's written in verse, and it creates like a melody. It creates like this beautiful wave that moves and clarifies things, speaks about these important elements or important subjects, and it does give a very good feeling of who they are and the wisdom that they carry, which I find very interesting, very important. So my grimoires, my books are published on Amazon internationally. You can check on my description here my author page, or you can write on Amazon Anais Giulia, my name, and then you can find all my books and my grimoires. And as I've said, they do speak about different thematics. Each one has their own dominion, each one has their own place. It's like, well, as I said, they are different. At the same time, they are all written in verse. They're all inspired by the book of King Solomon, the Ars Goetia. And they're quite new published, so I'm still curious and interested in the opinion of others once they read them, to see, that reflection mirror or reflection point, to say, well, me as a writer, the way I see them and the importance that I give them, and I'm interested to see the feeling of others as well regarding my books. The first grimoire is called King Paimon, Lord of the Endless Silence, the Lord of the Abyss. It is a grimoire written in verse by me. I'm the author of the book, and King Paimon is a very powerful king in the Ars Goetia as well as in my grimoire. It's the same character, but represented in a different way through history, through time, and it created an entire story about King Paimon, of who he is, what he represents. As he represents the darkness, the abyss, the silence. They are all a few elements of him, because King Paimon is very vast, very powerful magician, a very powerful figure. After I wrote the Grimoire of Buea, another spirit of Ars Goetia. Buea is a master healer, a master of nature, and it is a very soft, very beautiful book that I have written, where he shares his wisdom and who he is to his 3 daughters. It is written in verse, and it speaks very much about how to work with the 4 elements: earth, fire, air, and water. Now, how to it's all about his wisdom that he carries as a master of nature, as a master healer. Then I wrote the book Grimoire of XCIII, called XCIII, The Voice in the Darkness. XCIII is another spirit, and he represents transformation, fire, passion, love, desire, no, but in a very almost like the phoenix, no, the one that it has risen from the ashes, and he teaches how one works with the fire element and the power. It's very powerful grimoire of XCIII, The Voice in the Darkness. He speaks from this faraway place where he resides, and he speaks about who you are, and how you can recognize yourself, and how you can recognize your power. It's very beautiful, very transformative grimoire. Then I wrote the Grimoire of l'Erage, which is l'Erage works with nature as well. It's very much represented by the wind, by nature, and it is finally a book on love. It speaks about the transformation power of love and healing, and l'Erage is a master of life and death, because in his realm everything lives, nothing dies. And he I had a dream, or to say recognition with him, that he visited me once when I was a child. I had a memory with him, and while I was writing the book, that memory came back to me and said, well, I did see the spirit of l'Erage, which is very much connected to the woods, to the deer, to the wild animals, to the rivers, and he is in all the elements of nature. His spirit resides. Then I wrote the Grimoire of Barbatos. Barbatos is a spirit of nature as well, and he's a master fighter. His symbol very similar to l'Erage and Barbatos, but they are of course different. The symbol of the arrow, the symbol of the fire or the nature, and Barbatos too is a very beautiful and powerful grimoire. Then I wrote the Grimoire of Asmodeus. Asmodeus represents the darkness, and his spirit is very powerful and very revealing about that strength and power and dominion, and he's the master of desire, and the master of will, the master of power, and the grimoire is very revealing on these subjects as well. One can learn a lot from Asmodeus, from this grimoire. Then I wrote the Grimoire of Vapula, where Vapula is a supernatural being that, I'll say, well, it is a very romantic book. It is about him searching for his beloved Akara, and he refuses everything was given to him, and he never wants to stop until he finds his beloved woman, no? That he searched for her everywhere. And it is a very romantic book. It is about love, about madness, about delirium, about that power in not giving up on the thing you love or the person that you love. It is very transformative, very beautiful book. Vapula grimoire is very nice. Definitely recommend it to others. And yeah, so as I've said, they all touch on different subjects, but they all share the same inspiration point. King Paimon is a very large book. My first grimoire, it is around 700 pages. XCIII, it's around 400-500 pages, and the others are around 200-300 pages. So they are larger books, but as I've said, they're written in verse, so the reading flows very softly, very easily, and it is a pleasure to read them. It's a pleasure to to receive that information, to receive that knowledge, to receive that understanding that they carry, or that healing, or that transformative power. They're all available on Amazon internationally. If you want to read, if you want to own them, they have beautiful covers, beautiful text. Definitely I'm going to enjoy them, and as I've said, they're beautiful books inside out, with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of wisdom, a lot of power, a lot of beauty and love. So they do touch on different subjects as well, and I invite you to check them out and see if you like any of them, and if too, I thank you for being interested in them, and if you buy them, thank you so much for the interest, and I would love to know your opinion on them, or on one at least, to say, well, what was the initial feeling or point that you started to read it, what happened the moment you read it, and how you felt afterwards, or any type of review or input. Will be more than happy to read and understand a little bit more from my work as well, to have that mirror point, to have that reflection back to me. And thank you so much for doing so, and until next time, all the best. Bye.